She kissed me one final time, her lips lingering for a moment before she turned toward the door, a knowing smile playing at the corners of her mouth. Well, looks like the real fun is just beginning. The door swung open, and there he was, shirt untucked, eyes fixed on both of us. Without a word of inquiry, he stepped forward, his presence commanding the space. Before we dive in, if you're a regular here and enjoying these stories, take a moment to like and subscribe. It's one of the simplest ways to support the channel. Thanks. Now let's get started. The instant the office cleared out, he locked the door behind us and pulled me close. His lips met mine, urgent and warm, sending a surge of electricity through my body. He guided me gently to sit on the edge of his desk, pulling me even closer, his breath warm against my ear as he whispered how many nights he dreamed of being alone with me like this. Every subtle movement sent paper clips and scattered sheets tumbling to the floor, though neither of us noticed. I felt his urgency beneath the controlled nature of his touch, growing with each passing second. My grip on him tightened as I tilted my head back, lost in our private world. His breathing deepened, his body tense, as if he was holding back powerful emotions. I could feel the tremble in his fingertips as they touched me, as though he'd waited an eternity for this very moment. I whispered his name softly, warmth flooding through me, the tension building until it felt as though time itself had paused. He exhaled slowly, his chest rising and falling as he embraced our closeness fully. For a long, peaceful moment, we stayed together in the comforting silence of the empty office. Then, he brushed his lips gently across my cheek. "She's been dropping hints lately," he said, his voice soft. I hesitated, meeting his gaze. "Your wife?" He nodded, calm and collected. "Not jealousy, curiosity. She's been asking questions she never had before." "What kind of questions?" I asked, my pulse quickening as his fingers lightly grazed my hand. He looked at me with steady eyes. "She asked how I'd feel about inviting someone else into our relationship." My heart skipped a beat, my eyes widening. "Are you serious?" He smiled confidently. At first, I thought she was just teasing. I shifted, suddenly alert. "Do you think she suspects something between us?" He met my eyes directly, reassuring and calm. "She might." The next morning, I woke up still wrapped in the warmth of the memory of him. No regret, just the lingering echo of what we had shared. Thankfully, it was Saturday. No alarms, no responsibilities, just the gentle light filtering through the curtains. My thoughts wandered, memories and sensations I couldn't quite push away. Stretching beneath the blankets, I felt a strange peace, replaying every word he'd whispered, every soft touch, every moment he made me feel important. Part of me knew I should feel guilty. After all, he was married. But the way he looked at me, as if I were irresistible, stayed with me, and it didn't feel wrong. It felt electric. I drifted further into my thoughts, remembering the softness of his voice, his reassuring touch, and the warmth in his eyes. My breathing slowed, as if recalling how natural and right it all felt. Suddenly, my phone buzzed gently on the nightstand, pulling me from my thoughts. I reached over, still caught between memory and curiosity. Her name flashed across the screen, followed by a message that made my heart race. "I know. No, but I'm not angry. I'm curious about you." I froze, recalling his words, the careful way he'd explained her growing curiosity. At the time, I had thought he was just teasing, but now it felt undeniably real. Another message popped up, accompanied by an image. She stood there, smiling warmly in a casual robe, at ease in her own skin. Her expression was open and confident, her gaze steady, genuinely interested. Below the photo were two simple words. "Come over." There was no trace of anger or jealousy, just a genuine invitation. Unexpected, yet impossible to ignore. Warmth bloomed inside me, but this time, my thoughts weren't focused on him. They were entirely on her. Taking a deep breath, I knew I was standing on the edge of something I couldn't easily turn away from. Without hesitation, I typed my response, fully certain of my choice. "Let me know when." Placing the phone down gently, I closed my eyes, allowing thoughts of her to settle in. Before long, hers was the only name lingering in my mind. Her reply arrived just past noon. Tonight. Come whenever you're ready. Clear. Simple. Confident. I stared at the message a beat longer than necessary, then suddenly sprang from bed, filled with a restless energy. Pushing aside any lingering doubt, I moved through my routine, showering, dressing with care, selecting something effortlessly casual yet deliberately chosen. But even after preparing, with hours still ahead, anticipation kept me restless. By the time I arrived, my heart pounded louder than the hum of my car's engine. The house stood before me, modern and sleek, its large windows glowing warmly from within. Everything about it was polished, refined, just like her. Taking a steadying breath, I pressed the doorbell, willing my nerves to settle. She answered barefoot, wrapped in a soft gray robe, greeting me with a smile so natural, so warm, that it felt as though we'd known each other forever. "Hi," she said gently. "Hi," I echoed, my pulse quickening as her gaze traveled over me, slow and thoughtful. She stepped aside, allowing me in, then closed the door with an easy grace. "You're even more beautiful in person," she murmured. Caught off guard, I simply smiled, following her down a hallway lined with elegant artwork, the air carrying a fresh, subtle fragrance. "You seem nervous," she observed, her voice laced with kindness. "Maybe a little," I admitted. She turned toward me fully, her expression calm, reassuring. "You don't have to be. We both know why you're here." I nodded. The air between us crackled with unspoken understanding, charged with something deeper than words could express. Moving closer, her eyes searched mine, seeing everything I hadn't said. "I understand," she whispered, her voice warm, soothing. "Neither of us planned this." Her fingers brushed against mine, a simple touch that instantly melted away my nerves. "Now that you're here," she continued, her smile deepening. "We have a little time before he gets home." Without hesitation, she leaned in, pressing a soft, reassuring kiss to my lips. It felt natural, as if we'd been leading to this moment all along. Taking my hand, she guided me deeper into the house, and without a second thought, I followed inside the bedroom. She turned toward me with quiet confidence, her gaze steady, inviting. Without speaking, she moved toward the bed, pausing only to glance back, offering a silent invitation that sent my pulse racing. Something shifted inside me. Not doubt, but a profound desire to surrender to this moment, completely closing the distance between us. I reached for her, and as our lips met again, the kiss deepened, conveying everything we hadn't put into words. Her hands found mine, fingers interlocking as each touch heightened our connection. No words were needed. Every slow, deliberate movement spoke volumes. Her fingertips traced the curve of my neck, each stroke igniting something deeper, drawing me further into this fragile yet undeniable moment. My heart pounded, our closeness intensifying beyond fleeting touches, growing into something far more meaningful. She sank onto the edge of the bed, eyes locked on mine, pulling me gently toward her. I settled beside her, feeling the warmth radiating between us, our gazes locked, communicating without a single word how inevitable, how right, this was. Soft fingers wove through hair, trailed down shoulders, pressed lightly against backs. Each touch was intentional, deepening the connection that had been building long before I'd even stepped through her door. Breath by breath, our rhythm slowed, sinking naturally as the warmth between us grew, cresting into something powerful, something beyond anticipation, acceptance. She leaned in once more, her kiss slow but urgent, guiding us gently as we settled together, the mattress shifting beneath us. As we lay there, she curled into me, her touch exploring my shoulders before tracing slow, delicate lines along my arms, as if memorizing every inch. The space between us disappeared, replaced by something richer, something deeper. Heat surged through me, my heartbeat quickening, the weight of this moment pressing into my chest, consuming me whole. I let myself surrender entirely, open, exposed, yet wrapped in an overwhelming sense of security. She exhaled softly, her breath carrying the same quiet release I felt within, as if we had both been holding on to something only to finally let it go. Our bodies melted into each other, the silence between us thick with meaning, a quiet acknowledgement of the profound connection we had just shared. Our eyes met again, no words needed. Everything was understood in a single glance. Just as the calm began to settle over us, a faint sound reached our ears, the front door opening. She turned her head slightly toward the hallway, then back to me, a playful yet knowing smile touching her lips. "Looks like it's time for round 2, she murmured. The bedroom door creaked open, breaking the stillness but only adding to the anticipation. He stepped inside, his shirt undone, his gaze sharp yet brimming with quiet excitement as he took in the sight of us together. Without hesitation, he moved forward, completely at ease within this intimate space. She rose effortlessly, meeting him partway, her expression warm and inviting. Her hands found his chest, a light touch that guided him into the unspoken bond we had created. Then, with a glance toward me, she extended an unspoken invitation, one so compelling, so natural, that I stepped forward without hesitation, drawn into the moment with them. The energy between us shifted, electric yet deeply comforting. Gentle touches bridged the space between us, fingertips gliding over skin, hands pressing together in a quiet affirmation of what we were building. His breathing deepened as he rested his hands lightly on our shoulders, pulling us closer, further solidifying the connection. She studied him with quiet tenderness, guiding him into the depth of what we had already begun. Each breath, every small shift, only heightened the intensity growing between us. The emotion became almost overwhelming, a force greater than any one of us alone. For a moment, he paused, taking a slow breath, visibly moved. She turned to me, her smile reassuring as she took my hand and led us toward the bed. As I lay back, he followed, pulling me effortlessly into his warmth, his touch grounding and steady. Our breathing synchronized, each inhale and exhale drawing us deeper into an unshakable rhythm. She soon joined us, her presence heightening everything, amplifying the emotions weaving between us. Her lips brushed mine in a lingering kiss, sending a shiver through me, anchoring me even further in this shared moment. The weight of our closeness, the deepening connection, was undeniable. His fingers laced with mine, while hers traced delicately through my hair, each touch carrying unspoken meaning. We moved together, seamlessly, effortlessly, our bond intensifying, reaching towards something inevitable. My heart pounded, my breath uneven, as I felt their presence surrounding me completely. She shifted, her gaze locking onto mine, filled with an intimacy that needed no explanation. Slowly, he positioned himself behind her, wrapping an arm around both of us, securing the connection that had formed so perfectly, so naturally. We remained intertwined, breathing in sync, emotions building, rising steadily, the warmth between us pressing into every inch of space. The tension coiled tighter, exquisite and unbearable, until finally, it crested. A sharp breath caught in my throat as a wave of undeniable intensity crashed over me, drawing all three of us into a shared moment of pure, unfiltered vulnerability. She sighed, her body relaxing fully into the warmth surrounding us, while his breathing slowed, deep and steady, mirroring the quiet release we had all reached together. For a long while, none of us moved, basking in the silence, absorbing the weight of what we had just experienced. Eventually, she shifted, curling into him, yet reaching for me, ensuring that I remained part of the warmth, part of the unbreakable connection between us. I moved closer, sinking into the certainty of belonging, feeling more wanted, more accepted, more cherished than I had ever imagined possible. Her gaze flickered between us, filled with something soft, something undeniably real. A small, knowing smile tugged at her lips as she brushed a gentle hand through my hair. "Well," she whispered, her voice laced with warmth and finality, "you're truly one of us now." Then, as if speaking directly to the unseen observer beyond this moment, she posed a final question. "If you were invited into something like this, wouldn't you say yes?" Drop your thoughts in the comments. I'd love to know. And if you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. There's so much more to come. Thanks for watching, and for being part of this.